away from the larger crowd, came down and tried to turn this vehicle over. They did get that accomplished. It did roll back onto its tires, but prior to that, they broke the windows with bricks, with rocks, that sort of thing. They lit it on fire, and the police are just now arriving on the scene. Someone that we haven't identified yet did extinguish the fire in that car.
And Fox 2's George Sells is on the scene. George, what can you tell us?
Okay. Do it now. Do it now. Well, Mandy, we're out here. We got more fire trucks coming right now. Or this is police, actually. We've had several police vehicles, and you can see the armored vehicles going now. This is all moving down toward the area that Steve was just showing you, where protesters have turned over that police car. If you think back to last night, this is exactly how things went south last night, was when protesters went after a police car. And you can see now all of the emergency vehicles heading down that way. Got a car coming through here, excuse me a second. You can see all the emergency vehicles moving down that way. They are all heading in the direction of where that is going. Most of the protesters at this point have pretty much moved out of this area across the street from the police station. You can see some folks still walking out and heading in that direction. And you can see over here, the police presence here is now pretty much all National Guardsmen. There were a lot of police out here. Those police have all headed now in the direction down Florissant Road toward where the incident with the police car is and whatever other disturbance they're dealing with. I think we may have more than one thing going on from the looks of where the police lights are going. Fox 2's Elliot Davis is with me here also. He's been watching the National Guard presence for much of the night. Elliot, your thoughts on that?
Indeed, the National Guard presence here, about hundreds of more guardsmen have been brought into the area. Basically, they help police to allow them to respond to some of the trouble spots like you have seen tonight. Let's look. We can see the guardsmen who are stationed here in front of City Hall, and that's allowing more police officers to be able to go and do their extraction when there is trouble within the protesters. There were during last night violence, there was about 700 guardsmen throughout the area. Now we're told there are about 2,200. We went into a number of the areas to some of the shopping malls and the like, and there were guardsmen with their weapons who were posted there. As I said, that'll allow hundreds more to respond just in case of trouble. Now, I did have a chance to talk to one of the protesters, and I was able to ask essentially if she thought the presence of the National Guard would be a deterrent to trouble. She says she thought that it would, but by the way things are shaping up tonight, we'll really just have to wait and see, and what we're seeing so far certainly is not looking good. This is Elliot Davis reporting live from Ferguson.
Show you some video right now that was shot just a few minutes ago as a group of protesters broke away from a larger number. You can see them here. They go up to this police car. They break the windows with rocks, with bricks, and then just like the scene last night, you see them tip this vehicle over on its side. It rolls back onto its tires shortly afterwards. We continue to follow this video. You'll also see that they ignited the car a little bit later. This is on Church Street. This is across from Ferguson City Hall.
Yeah, it's about 2 miles away from Ferguson PD. At about 9:50, after protesters and police it was largely uneventful. There were about 3 arrests, or there were 3 arrests, we think, and some protesters from the back. You can see there's the fire being started on the police cruiser there. Some folks started throwing objects at the National Guard from the back of the protesters. Some protesters were upset with that, and then all of a sudden about 200 of them just started moving towards City Hall, and here are some of the arrests that we were telling you. Right now we believe three arrests or 4 arrests. Right now we're not sure on the exact number, but at least 3 arrests have been made tonight. We talked to some police before all of this happened, and they said the second night they would be concerned with people coming from out of town. Trouble specifically against authorities and law enforcement.
At this point, we don't know if those protesters are from out of town or if they are from the St. Louis or Ferguson area. But the one thing that we noticed is right away someone showed up. They extinguished the fire as the car was uprighted. Also, the police presence was pretty immediate. And earlier today, as we were listening to press conferences from Governor Jay Nixon, he spoke about a rapid response team. and perhaps that's what we're seeing tonight. As soon as they did hear something, they got on the scene pretty quickly. Let's head up to Bommarito Automotive. Sky Fox videographer Steve Myers is up top. Steve, what can you tell us?
Hi, Sandy. Well, you can see the car there. You can also see the police presence that has now surrounded that car. There are some protesters on the other side of the street. The police did get here relatively fast. Obviously, the protesters got here first, but they are here now. They have the scene back in control. Certainly a tremendous number of police here. Looks like most of the force that was up at the police department has now come here. And there are still some protesters across the street. Obviously, others have run away and moved into other areas. We weren't able to keep up with them, but you see some of the police vehicles here that have shown up, and they mobilize very, very quickly. And now you see you see some smoke stuff going on back here. I don't exactly know where that's come from, but that always creates at least some sort of a problem. And for now, you can see the police department surrounding the car, holding a line, and it does look as though the protesters are dispersing at this point. And we're going to follow these guys down the street here and see what's going on, because it does look like they're moving back. So, I don't know where the smoke canisters have come from. It may be police. They may be trying to disperse the crowd that way, and it does seem to be having an effect because the crowd is moving. We'll go ahead and show you them. They're opposite the police vehicles here, and they are moving down the sidewalk and going down this parking lot. And I suspect there are some police officers in here as well that it's a little bit harder to see. I'm going to send it back to you. I do see, a lot of smoke here. I don't know where that's coming from at this stage of the game, but you can see it as well as I can on this parking lot, coming into areas where the protesters and the police are not. And the light you see there is the police helicopter. For now, I'm going to throw it back to you. Unless you've got some questions, I'll try to answer them. But everything is confined here to the street. I think Mandy said it was Church Street here in front of City Hall, and you can see the police presence. Protesters still here, but you see some smoke going off in the back.
Steve, I have a question for you. Have you
really
seen? Steve, this is Rafer. Can you hear me,
Back
Steve?
to you guys.
Steve, I have a question for you. Have you seen any arrests since the car was ignited on fire? Have you seen anybody get arrested so far?
No, I have not. I have not seen anyone get arrested so far. They showed up, and most of those people that were involved with damaging the car, I think, had probably left already, and only their protesters across the way here were there. I'm going to get you a little bit closer here, and I'm going to introduce some noise into this because I want to see what's going on here. This is the protest group, and it looks like they're moving here. I can't tell. There are some police in there as well, so I'm not quite sure what is happening at this point, other than perhaps a little bit of a standoff, which seems like a bad idea, but that doesn't stop people from doing it. They do seem to be around the one police car, but you can see the police presence that's there with it. But no, Rafer, at this point, I have not seen anyone get arrested.